1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. 1 minute. That's funny. All right. I changed the shot a little bit.
I always go under the chin.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on, Brandon.
All right. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Good.
You're good. Yes.
All right. Let's see. Okay.
10 to roll, 10 to broadcast.
10 seconds to broadcast.
Oh, I wish it were 10 minutes. Get a quick nap.
North to south, coast to coast. This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. Just fired up the TV show. You can come and look at our fantastic and brand new camera angle. You can't tell it from the old one, but it is, I assure you, different because I'm trying to figure out how to make it better. That being said, join us, please, at 844-927-6691. I have a couple of questions for you. Let's go through the news first. The Wall Street Journal reports that a House committee began considering a bill yesterday that would reduce taxes by $1.4 trillion in 10 years. But there are disagreements over key pieces of the measure that could force the GOP to make changes and slow down plans to pass it by year's end. This would be bad. House Republicans are at odds over plans to eliminate deductions for state and local taxes. State Republicans disagree on child tax credits and whether to accept significantly bigger budget deficits. Narrow margins in both chambers leave the party little room to maneuver. And the reason that it leaves little room to maneuver is because Republicans aren't looking in the right places for room to maneuver. Let me explain. There will not be significantly bigger budget deficits because the actual economy will grow. And every percentage point of GNP growth will offset any monies that would be given back to the American people. Because not just the American people will spend money, but also American corporations will spend money. And before you know it, you'll have a thriving economy again, back in the good old days that we had before. The ones the Democrats say were failures. Yeah, they were failures because it didn't provide enough people who were broke so that they could be victims of a government handout. That's why the Democrats, you have to understand what a Democrat failure is. You see, a failure in the United States is to not ruin the economy enough to be able to force people onto another government program managed by Democrats. That is why the Democrats say that the Reagan years, the Reagan era of amazing economic growth in the United States and prosperity for all was a failure. It's just one of those things. Sandy wonders, by the way, if I'm feeling better. No. However, I had 2 bowls of chicken soup last night, and I feel a little better-ish. So anyway, the Republicans are now finding ways to screw up yet again over something that should be relatively simple because they've done it before. Senator Ted Cruz criticized the House GOP tax plan today for likely raising taxes on individuals in high-tax states like New York and California, called for language to repeal the individual mandate to produce more revenue. Cruz called raising taxes on people in healthy, wealthy, staunchly Democrat states like New York and California a mistake. He has teamed up with fellow conservative senators Tom Cotton of Arkansas and Rand Paul of Kentucky in calling for tax reform to include language repealing Obamacare's tax penalty on people who don't buy health insurance. The provision would raise an estimated $300 billion to $400 billion over the next decade, which Cruz and other Senate conservatives say could be used to lower the individual tax rates even further. Pay attention to Senator Cruz and do what he says. This is news about the Republican tax plan. Then there's this. Not a cold due to cough. Not a cough due to postnasal drip and cold. That is not what I was referring to. What I was referring to is former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich saying that House Republicans under the leadership of Speaker Paul Ryan have done an excellent job crafting and communicating about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. But there still is a long road ahead. Ideally, the bill will easily get through the House Ways and Means Committee and be passed by the full House before Thanksgiving. Conferencing in the Senate may prove to be more difficult given the smaller majority there. Republicans must therefore ensure the American people know how remarkably positive the bill is, making it extremely difficult for Democrats, especially those up for re-election, to oppose it. Under the bill, lower to middle income earners will be able to keep more of their hard-earned income because the standard deduction would be nearly doubled from $6,350 to $12,000 for individuals, and from $12,000 to $24,000 for families. That's going to make a difference. This means anybody making $12,000 or less, which is roughly the federal poverty level of $12,060 for individuals, will pay no income tax. The typical family of four that earns the median household income of $59,000 will see an $1,182 tax cut. That according to the Ways and Means Committee. Additionally, families will see the child tax credit increase for those caring for adult dependents will be provided with a $300 credit. This will work. The 25% maximum tax rate for small businesses, which makes up 99% of the U.S. employer fleet, will boost investment, business expansion, hiring, and wages across the country. This, coupled with the bill's dramatic reduction in the corporate tax rate from 35% down to 20%, which is only 5% too big, would cause the U.S. economy to experience tremendous growth and prosperity. Finally, the value of the bill's aggressive simplification of the tax code cannot be overstated. If passed in its current form, most Americans will be able to file their taxes on a single postcard-sized document, further saving American families both time and money. If passed, it would be the most important tax reform legislation in more than 30 years. Republicans, however, according to the former Speaker, Newt Gingrich, need to stay focused and must overcome the two major hurdles that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act currently faces. Republicans and Republicans. Pass the bill. Do you get me? Politics loves a problem. Politics hates a solution. But this tax mess has got to stop. You have to stop this income tax mess, and you have to give us back more of our money because the government is not competent to do anything. Anything. Well, they build great naval ships. Man, that Virginia-class submarine and that brand new Gerald Ford-class aircraft carrier, awesome. Just saying. So anyway, the government doesn't do many things well. Build great naval ships. So here's my question for you. I am trying to, I have to understand, you have to understand that when it comes to Republicans, I have trouble with the Republican Party. I have trouble with the Republican Party, more trouble with the Republican Party than I have in a long time, since I fired them in 2006. It's not because they're not good men, because they are. It's not because they're not good patriots, because they are. It's because they're Republicans, and when they get together, they find ways of screwing things up that baffle the imagination. It completely drives me crazy just how brilliant the Republicans can be at destroying their own political fortunes. And that's why I ask this rather annoyed question. If Republicans fail to pass tax reform legislation, are you going to vote for somebody else in 2018? And if so, who? Telephone number 844-927-6691. Call me right now. If Republicans fail to pass tax reform legislation, will you vote for someone else in 2018? And if so, who? By the way, this gives me an opportunity to say something to the people down the line. You have listened to the Wells Report now for a couple of weeks. It's time to check in. I want you to call us 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. I want you to call in, say hello, and tell us what radio station you're listening on. We had somebody from Oklahoma City call us the other day on AM 890 up there in Oklahoma City. I tried to call the radio station to say thank you for carrying the Wells Report. So I'll just do it over the air today. If you are listening in Oklahoma City on 890, and I think it's KTLR. Yeah, KTLR. If you are listening on AM 890 KTLR, thank you very much. It means a lot to me that you're listening. There's also a station in Washington State, and I'm still trying to figure out just exactly which one that is. During the break, I will find out. But if you're listening in a state other than Texas, please join us and tell us where you're calling from. Now, we've had lots of people who listen to the Wells Report because we put this thing live on, excuse me, live on video, and we have a pretty good web presence. So we spend a lot of time on the web, and we spend a lot of time doing really cool stuff. So we have a lot of people in different states. But if you are listening on the radio in a different state than Texas, please call and tell us who and where you are. Love to meet you. 844-927-6691. Now, that being said, if Republicans fail to pass tax reform legislation, will you vote for someone else in 2018? And if so, who? It's simplistic to say, I'll just vote for Democrats. No, you won't. Because Democrats are far worse than Republicans. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. Democrats are lost. Democrats are wandering around in the desert right now, and they haven't really figured out what they want to be when they grow up. Right now, they want to be a bunch of petulant snowflakes populating America's universities and essentially wreaking havoc instead of getting out of the way and letting kids learn. That's what they want to do, and I don't agree with it, but what are you going to do? You know, they just want to get together and convince these moronic little kids that there are ways to avoid good hard work. And crazily enough, if you come up with a good enough reason for kids to avoid good hard work, they'll avoid good hard work. Have you noticed that? That's what happens when you are the father of teenage boys. You just learn these things. Just intrinsically shows up in your life. Telephone number 844-927-6691. If indeed Republicans fail to pass tax reform legislation, if they don't do something about Obamacare like they said they were going to do, I'm going to vote for different Republicans. I'll still vote for Republicans, but there will be different votes on my ballot. And that needs to go forth from this time and place, and that needs to be your attitude too. You know, it's not going to be long before the 2018 primary season gets started. And you know what you need to do? You need to be ready for it, and you need to be willing to vote for somebody else, somebody that can win. You have to vote for somebody that can win. You're listening to The Wells Report. This is the USA Radio Network.
You are clear and you're good.
Thank you. Was I a little off the post that time?
No, you eased right into it. It's like you hit the post right at the post. Nobody was hurt.
Cool.
Well, they're two school children.
Two small
you
school
ran, you ran
school
over
children.
You ran over their foot. but
Yeah,
nothing serious.
just footy. They're footy.
Little Connor's not going to be able to play kickball this winter. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, there you have it. Got to move that light.
Hey, JD,
Yeah.
got a question for you if you're up for talking.
Sure. I'm up for talking.
No. So there's a little blurb here on CNN.
Yes.
Trump to deliver major speech on North Korea tonight.
Yes.
Do you have any dope on what might be the speech might be about? You think they struck a deal, or he's going to issue a deadline?
It's probably going to be about that dope in North Korea.
Yeah. Well, he says Trump to deliver major speech on North Korea tonight.
Huh. Well, this could be interesting.
Calm before the storm, maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, if we get nuked when we get to the afterlife, you want to hang out?
No.
Oh, thanks.
I'm kidding. Of course I do.
Well, I'm gonna be trying for Marilyn Monroe when I first get up there.
Uh-huh.
Assuming I go there.
Sure.
And
You'll go there.
oh yeah, actually, you know who I'm gonna go after? Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy.
What is that?
Brittany Murphy. What is that?
Yeah, what's that noise?
That's me dragging a chair.
Oh,
I'm busy. How much time do I have? 2 minutes.
minute 50.
A minute and 50.
Actually, I'm gonna go after
minute
Mary
and
Lincoln.
50 seconds.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. I'll talk to you in a second.
I'm not busy. You can talk to me. If I need to move this chair forward a little bit more. That's great. Great. All right. Okay. Let's see. Make it no. There we go. All right. I's not the sheriff, but I did not snoot the deputy. There. I's not the sheriff. But I did not snoot the deputy. Okay. And now. There. What?
Oh, it was about you.
What were you?
Oh, I was telling him the story about when Gary Campbell gave you that lap dance at the bachelor party.
Yeah, I didn't know he was gay until he did that. Funny. You're listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. I just did some very important acrobatics here on the broadcast today. I changed a television light. I actually have television lights on this radio station. And so I was able to change the location of a light and take some 20 years off of my face. One of my dearest friends ever. He's a fellow soldier of mine in the Texas State Guard. His name is Jonathan Martin. Jonathan Martin and I served in Operation Strong Safety in September of 2014. And we were there and he was there and we were all there. And it was really quite wonderful. And he was going to say that if I fell off the chair that I was working with, he was never going to let me live it down. Well, I didn't fall off, John. Yeah. So what we're talking about here on the Wells Report this afternoon is two things basically. One, I have a really bad cold, so I'm on antihistamines, and and that's why I'm talking about other things. But we're actually talking about Republicans and their failure to do meaningful legislative work. It's not so much the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives is doing very, very well. They are. House of Representatives is doing just fine. The Senate, on the other hand, is blowing it. The Senate of the United States is making a huge mistake. They have like 250 bills that they haven't done anything with. And they need to fix it. The House of Representatives is doing its job. What I'm saying is that the Senate, Mitch McConnell, needs to get busy. Or we need to find somebody to replace Mitch McConnell. Are you listening in Kentucky? It's going to be a while before you get a chance to do it. But we got to figure something out here. Because I assure you, this is infuriating. If the Republican Party fails to pass tax reform, will that be proof positive that they're trying to sabotage President Trump? See, that's another aspect of this. If they're not able to do something about this legislative agenda, does that prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they really, truly are trying to sabotage this president? You know what I say? Yes. You know why I say it? Because it's true. And I think you understand that it's true as well. 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. Share with us what you think. If they fail to pass tax reform legislation this year, are you going to vote for somebody else in 2018? I'm sure you're going to consider it, because I've sure had enough of this. We elected President Trump because the powers that be in Washington, D.C. wanted to take the government and turn it into something that could hurt us. We, the people of the United States, believed that that was true, which is why we believe, and the polling is plain to see for anybody to check up on and look at, that the number one threat to American freedom and liberty is indeed the U.S. government. So that's where we were before we decided to do something about it. What did we decide to do? We decided to elect Donald Trump. The Democrats hated the idea. They are still freaking out because we elected Donald Trump. But the Republicans weren't far behind him either. All you got to do is just read some of the things that Jeb Bush said when he was running for the presidency. Just read a few of those things that he said about President Trump. There were people that were primaried in the 2016 presidential primary, that primary year. There were Republicans that threw their support behind Democrat candidates. Those moderate Republicans that I say are, without doubt, the most dangerous public political party in America, because they hide behind conservatism until it's time to vote Democrat. You know Mitch McConnell? You know what I'm talking about, buddy? Yeah, you do, don't you? So here we are, we the people of the United States, looking right at another opportunity to get it right again, to support this president. As a matter of fact, it's happening today. More about that a little bit later. But right now, what I want to say is this. Mind your P's and Q's. Pay attention to what's going on this radio broadcast. We'll take you right through it. This is the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network.
Hang on. 4, 3, 2, 1, and speak.
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, you're good. But you know, let's take a couple minutes. Go take a Sucrets or something.
Why?
I don't know. Rest your instrument. You know, because this is your livelihood. That instrument in your
True.
throat.
Let me go and plug a light. I'll be right back.
All right.
All righty then. What are you saying, that the audio quit? Jonathan?
I didn't say that.
Yay, Jonathan, this isn't a station feed. You're listening to a network feed, so there's nothing. Let's see, the video is lagging behind the audio. And speed. I turned my volume down on the phone, turned up on the radio so I can listen in real time. Huh?
Hey, JD.
What?
You know who Roy Halladay is?
Roy Halladay.
Pitcher for the Phillies?
Yeah.
Died in a plane crash.
No.
Big name.
Big name, huh?
Now he's a big splash.
Oh, hang on a minute.
All right, JD. Stand by 10 seconds.
There.
All right. Stand by.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. You know, I've been saying for a long time now that you can only defy gravity for so long. The mainstream media has done a great job in holding up the intellectually bankrupt ideas of the Democrat Party. But you can only do that for so long. And I believe that people are finally beginning to realize the Democrat Party is not what they believe themselves to be. Favorable views of the Democrat Party have dropped to their lowest mark in more than 25 years of polling. This is according to new numbers from a CNN poll. Only 37% of Americans have a favorable opinion of Democrats. That's down from 44% this year. A majority, 54%, have an unfavorable view. That matches the highest mark in polls from CNN and SSRS, CNN ORC, and CNN USA Today Gallup, stretching back to 1992. Does that make sense to you? It does to me. The rating includes low favorable ratings from some core Democrat groups, including non-whites, 48%. People under 35 years of age, 33%. The numbers come amid recent feuds and divisions in the Democrat Party, as former interim chair Donna Brazil's new book unveils new questions about infighting during the 2016 presidential campaign. Let me explain what happened here. Mainline Democrats backed away from the Democrat Party and are backing away from the Democrat Party because they are essentially a progressive liberal party that is anti-American. They made the mistake in their progressive bloodlust to allow a full-on Soviet-style Marxist socialist to run in the guise of the Democrat Party. The pathologically dumb Deborah Wasserman Schultz, on what should have been completely friendly territory, MSNBC, Chris Matthews no less, stepped into the biggest political dunderhead move of the century when she couldn't tell the difference between a Democrat and a socialist when asked not once but twice by Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews thought he was serving up another softball to the DNC chairman, but in reality, what he did was force her to show her cards that the Democrat Party was indeed the Democrat Socialist Party, that socialism was next for the Democrat Party. Mainline Democrats walked away from it. The only people that liked the idea were kids that are up to their eyeballs in hundreds of thousands of dollars of college debt. Suddenly they had somebody that wanted their college loans to be paid off for free. What does this all equal? This all equals very low favorability numbers for the Democrat Party, and it should. The Democrat Party is theoretically an American party, but it is not. It is an anti-American party as we come to this conversation. And people are beginning to realize it. Donna Brazil has done everything you could possibly imagine to pretty well dismantle the Democrat Party in the last couple of weeks. Now you're saying to yourself, I'm glad I'm a Republican because, by golly, we don't have those problems. Yeah, you do. 30% of Americans hold a favorable view of Republicans. In September, the rating hit its lowest point in polling back to 1992. That was down from 42% in March. Abroad, 6 in 10, 61% have an unfavorable opinion of the Republican Party. You know why? I'll tell you that too. Because the Republican Party is not cooperating with Donald Trump. The people of the Republican Party who gave Donald Trump the win, first gave him the nomination and then gave him the win, expect the Republican Party to work with Donald Trump, and they're not doing it. And that is going to cost this party mightily. Will it cost them their majorities in the Congress, in the House of Representatives, and the Senate? No. Because these people that are upset with the Republican Party are still going to vote for the Republican Party. And the reason that they're going to vote for the Republican Party is because there is no alternative. The Democrat Party is out in the middle of the desert. They are wandering fitfully, trying to figure out just exactly what they're going to do next, what they're going to do when they grow up. And with the millennials sitting right there, thinking that the best thing to do is to head down a socialist road, chances that the Democrat Party are going to read the tea leaves correctly, at least in the near term, not real good. Not real good at all. So both parties are pretty much sitting at rock bottom. Voters are going to the polls today in both New Jersey and Virginia. They're electing governors in those two states. There are dozens of local and mayoral races nationwide. 33% of liberals, 41% of conservatives have unfavorable views of Democrat and Republican parties, respectively. 4 in 10 independents, 42%, say that they also have an unfavorable view of both parties. Only 8% say they have a favorable view of both. A bare majority of Americans, 51%, say it's bad for the country that the Republican Party is in control of Congress. Only 38% say the GOP control is good for the nation. You know why? Because the GOP is stupid, and they have not been able to figure out how to get their message across. Both the message that the only American party in the United States right now is the GOP, and the fact that the Democrat Party is a progressive leftist power elite loony bin waiting to explode all over the United States. The Democrat Party now represents the closest thing this nation has ever had to an honest-to-goodness socialist meltdown. Then, of course, you can figure out that this is a CNN political story because after that, you say, hey, at least for now, those negatives for the GOP appear to outweigh the negatives for the Democrats. That's only because you're looking for something positive to say in your story. Those of us who remember the unbelievably bad polling information that came out of the 2016 presidential campaign know that more Democrats are interviewed for these polls than Republicans. There is a built-in bias in the polling. So if all is said and done, then what we have here is we have a very simple parody of unhappiness with either of these political parties by the people of the United States. There are more warning signs for Democrats in this poll. Overall, 36% of registered voters who identify as Democrats or Democrat-leaning say they're extremely or very enthusiastic about voting this year. That's only 36%. That's down from 44%. There are signs in the poll that more of next year's vote may be driven by dislike of party than affection for either one, which speaks well for Donald Trump and any other Tea Party candidate that can get themselves through the primaries and get themselves before the voters in November of 2018. Sweeping majorities of voters have unfavorable views of the party they won't support in 2018. 87% who say they back a Democrat have an unfavorable view of the Republican Party. 89% of those who say they'll back Republicans have a negative view of the Democrats. However, a sizable number of the party, or view the party that they do plan to vote for, unfavorably as well. A third of voters on both sides, 32%, say they have an unfavorable view of the party whose candidate they say they'll support in 2018. Then they start talking about President Trump's popularity. And President Trump's popularity is not accurate. These polls are doing a very bad job at reporting the realities of the public support for Donald Trump. They did the same thing to Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. Same people did the same thing. What they did was they said, hey, you know what? The Likud party, Bibi Netanyahu, is going to lose in a landslide. Instead, they won in a landslide after very carefully trying to engineer that was not being the case. That was not going to be the case. And then I'm sitting there wondering, okay, so President Obama was outraged about the fact that the Russians may have been interfering in our elections here. I wonder how the Russians felt about us, the United States of America, interfering in Israeli elections. I wonder. Actually, no, I don't. The Democrat Party's favorability rating is the lowest it has been in 25 years. That is significant beyond measure. It's absolutely huge, in fact. And why do you suppose this all is? I think it's because Democrat voters are sick of Democrats. That's what I think. And why would they not be? I think that's the same story with Republicans. Republican voters gave Republican office holders all the warning they need in 2016 when they elected President Trump. President Trump, indeed, is someone that requires the support of the people of the United States. And that's who needs to support him. This Asian trip has been very, very good for the president. He's been able to see real, honest-to-goodness Americans from all over the world stepping up and cheering in his face. He needs to see that. But yeah, there's a schism in the Republican Party. The Republicans are fractured between the progressive right that believes there should be two different legal systems or more. Because you remember that the Republican Party will certainly take part in protecting its less talented friends on the other side of the political spectrum when it comes to House negotiations and House campaigns and Senate campaigns and seats that are settled. The people that are doing this, they know what they're doing. They have a pretty good idea. But what I'm trying to figure out is whether or not they understand what we believe is the actual case. And you know what I don't think? I don't think they've got it. I don't think they've got it down. I don't think they've got it figured out in any way, shape, or form. And I think it's going to get them. Are Americans finally going to believe that the Democrat Party really does hate America? Yeah, I believe they will. And I believe they do. Do you? Do you believe the Democrats hate America? This is the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network.
Beautiful, my little kitten. Don't say anything for 5 seconds. You could talk in about 2 seconds. Okay, my kitten, you could talk now.
Gosh, that's really scary. Really, really frightening. Really frightening, really scary. Scary and frightening.
I do a lot of good voices.
Hang on a minute. Stand by. Yes?
Okay, dear kitten. Are we trying to get in? Are you there, my little kitten? My little kitten, are you there?
Hi. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Who's that? Oh, yes. Oh, man. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Yvonne says to tell you hi. She's busy at work. Well, okay.
Hello, my kitten.
Hello.
You're doing so well.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do this voice the rest of the show.
Huh?
I'm gonna do this voice the rest of the show.
Oh, it's really creepy.
Yes. I want you to come over later. And
Easy, buddy.
Yeah, I forget. We have a kind of a live audience right now.
God.
If you come over today, I will give you that catnip you like.
Wow.
Hey, by the way, all jokes aside, well, it is funny, but cats on catnip is hilarious.
The cat's on catnip?
Oh, come on. They go all bananas.
Yeah, they do, man.
It's like watching Scarface meets cats.
Shoot, man. What a drag.
All right, 10 seconds, my little kitten. Meow. Here we go.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Got some sad news here. A couple of notable deaths today. Sheriffs have confirmed that Roy Halladay has died in a plane crash. The sheriff of Pasco County, Florida, is confirming that former Major League Baseball pitcher Roy Halladay died in a plane crash off the Florida coast. Sheriff Chris Naco says the light sport aircraft crashed into the Gulf about 10 miles west of St. Petersburg this afternoon. The 40-year-old was an 8-time All-Star, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, over his 16-year career with the Phillies and the Blue Jays. Once again, Roy Halladay has passed away, apparently because of a plane crash. Also, astronaut Dick Gordon, who was the command module pilot for the second moon landing, is also dead today. NASA officials say Gordon died at his California home at the age of 88. He piloted Apollo 12 to the second moon landing. He never got to walk on the lunar surface. He spent more than 300 hours in space. He also piloted the Gemini 11 mission in 1966, during which he performed 2 spacewalks. He was a native of Seattle, Washington. He also served as the executive vice president of the New Orleans Saints football team in the National Football League. And so astronaut Dick Gordon has also passed away. Sad news today. Sad news. So here we are, looking at these things having to do with politics in the United States. That favorable views of the Democrat Party have dropped dramatically. Favorable views of the Republican Party have dropped dramatically. But this is CNN polling, which means that there will be more Democrats than Republicans in the polling itself. So the numbers will not be quite as bad as they actually are for the Democrat Party. And they will be slightly worse for the Republican Party than they actually are because there are more Democrats taking part in the conversation. But what this should tell both major parties is that there is big trouble in Mudville tonight. That the people of the United States, regardless of Democrat or Republican, are looking for an alternative. They found that alternative for the presidency. Now, will they find that alternative elsewhere? I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did. It wouldn't surprise me if they did at all. I knew that when we were coming up to the 2016 presidential election, that both of the political parties were in deep trouble. The Republican Party, because they were willing to step on the feet of their own president at any given moment, for any given reason, at any given time. The Democrats, because they were in disarray, because they had completely mangled their own message. Not just their own message, but their entire brand. The switch from Democrat Party to Democrat Socialist Party may have occurred in a very quiet place with very few people knowing what had happened. Remember, President Obama used to say everybody should do a fair day's work. They should get a fair check, a fair day's pay, get a fair shot. That's communism. And he knew he was saying it when he said it. That rhetoric was used by notable other communists like Fidel Castro. Before he died, Fidel Castro never said the word communist. Suppose there's a reason? Yeah, there's a reason. Because it just flat doesn't work. Venezuela is the latest example. You're listening to the Wells Report. Thanks for doing so on the USA Radio Network.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what I did. That was me. You ever run a board and you just go absolutely blank?
Yes.
That just happened to me.
Yes.
Scary.
Yep.
My bad. But other than that, with the delay, we've gone actually flawless.
Good.
I'd say.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'll talk to you in a few momentos.
Okie dokie-ish.
How will the recent massive data breach affect you?
Great news on the holiday piece. That was really nicely done.
Discover credit card member. There's an important action you can take to help protect yourself right now. Go online and sign up for Discover's free Social Security alerts. Once activated, we will alert you if your Social Security number is found on any one of thousands of risky websites. Learn more and sign up for free alerts at discover.com/free alerts. Limitations apply.
USA Radio News with Ron Taylor.
To make sure that we keep firearms out of the hands of people with mental illness, people who commit domestic violence and the like.
Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn saying there may be bipartisan consensus on fixing the background check system on firearms. In a Capitol Hill briefing today, Cornyn talked about Sunday's deadly mass shooting in his home state. He said background checks should help keep guns out of the hands of convicted felons, people with mental illness, and those who commit domestic violence. The Air Force failed to enter Devin Kelly's 2012 domestic violence conviction into their National Crime Information Center, and that may have prevented him from buying firearms before killing 26 people at a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, Sunday. A Tampa TV station says former Major League Baseball pitcher Roy Halladay has died in a plane crash this afternoon in the Gulf of Mexico. WTSP-TV reports the tail number of the plane is registered to the former Philadelphia Phillies pitcher. The Pasco County, Florida Sheriff's Office says the light sport aircraft crashed into the Gulf about 10 miles west of St. Petersburg about 1 p.m. local time. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Hi, you lost?
Yes! Medicare is such a maze!
United Healthcare can help.
Is that why you're driving this bulldozer?
Hop in! Choosing a plan doesn't have to be complicated. United Healthcare has the people, tools, and plans to get you through it, including the only Medicare plans with the AARP name.
That was easy.
Need to find a Medicare plan? Get help now at uhcmedicare.com. AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare. United Healthcare pays royalty fees to AARP. AARP is not an insurer.
Staples knows you can't afford to have your business slow down over the holidays. New customers aren't delivered down your chimney. You won't find new accounts in your stocking. No, just because it's the holidays doesn't mean you can stop marketing your company. So promote your business with eye-catching print materials like presentations, brochures, postcards, and promotional products from Staples. And now save 20% off print and marketing services orders of $50 or more. Sounds like you got at least one thing on your holiday list. Staples. It's pro time. Exclusions apply. Ends 12/2/17.
The New York City mayor's race is on top of the ticket for folks voting today in the Big Apple. Correspondent Scott Pringle is at Mayor de Blasio's headquarters. Scott, what's going on so far?
Well, so far, just the media and some de Blasio campaign staffers who are setting up for what they'll hope will be a giant de Blasio party later on. And if the polls are anywhere near accurate, that will definitely be the case. So de Blasio's been way ahead in the polls all campaign long. The Democratic mayor looking for a second term. Now his Republican challenger, Assemblywoman Nicole Maliotakis, and independent Bo Dietl, well, they've been trying to paint de Blasio as a criminal and corrupt politician recently, trying to capitalize on pay-to-play allegations at City Hall. Well, the mayor, he insists the feds investigated this and they never found anything wrong and that he's followed the law. At de Blasio headquarters in Brooklyn, Scott Pringle, New York.
This year's Rockefeller Center Christmas tree will come from Pennsylvania. A huge crane will hoist a nearly 13-ton tree onto a 115-foot-long trailer and hauled off to New York City to be put up at Rockefeller Center on Saturday. This is USA Radio News.
Colonel Sanders from KFC here to talk about the good old days. Well, the good old days are still here in chicken form, specifically in KFC's original recipe fried chicken with 11 herbs and spices. Our delicious chicken is still hand-breaded and pressure-fried just like it was then. Get your fill with 2 pieces of my original recipe in a $5 fill-up with mashed potatoes, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink at a KFC near you. KFC, it's still finger-licking good. At participating KFCs, prices may vary, tax extra.
We're hearing more about what may have sparked an attack on Senator Rand Paul as he cut his grass last week. USA Radio's Chris Barnes has an update.
A dispute over yard waste may be behind that violent attack on the Kentucky Senate Republican, as police say the man accused of attacking Paul last Friday could now be charged with a felony because of the senator's serious condition. Paul suffering 5 broken ribs and lung injuries from the attack. 59-year-old Renee Boucher currently charged with 4th-degree assault. The tussle may have resulted over landscaping issues. Neighbors say both Paul and Boucher have been locked in a long-running battle over leaves in each other's yards. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Texas authorities say they've recovered the phone of the gunman in Sunday's church shooting. FBI spokesman Christopher Combs remarked today that phone has been sent to a facility in Quantico, Virginia for analysis.
They're in the process of looking at the phone. Unfortunately, at this point in time, we are unable to get into that phone.
Although he refused to comment on the make of the phone, the FBI spokesman talked about the next steps now that the shooter's phone has been recovered.
I can assure you that we're working very hard to get into the phone. And that will continue until we find an answer. I don't know how long that's going to be quite honest with you.
Recapping our top story, Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn says there may be bipartisan consensus on fixing the background check system on firearms. He said background
Rod, he doesn't work during the week. Hey, John David, are you there? It's Rusty. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're getting nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous.
I guess our stomach.
Don't be nervous. Nervousness.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
North to south, coast to coast. This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Thanks for joining us. Tuesday, November 7th in progress. Donna Brazile is, I guess she's had enough. I think she represents what may be a move by real Democrats to take their party back. Take their party back from the progressive left, best personified by Deborah Wasserman Schultz. She is a former Democrat National Committee boss. She's released a 2016 campaign tell-all. It's a brand new book. And she absolutely tore up Deborah Wasserman Schultz over perks that Schultz enjoyed while the chairman of the DNC. She enjoyed those perks while the party was suffering from a cash crunch that left it dependent on Hillary Clinton's campaign. She pulled no punches in going after Representative Deborah Wasserman Schultz's leadership style in her book's Hacks. That's the name of the book, Hacks. Brazile recalled how she was briefed on taking over for Schultz and the many perks meant to keep the chair fat and happy, including a big Chevy Tahoe SUV with a driver, a body woman, and more. Does anybody know what a body woman is? 844-927-6691. I mean, is this like, in the movie Spartacus, is this like the Tony Curtis character except female? Just asking. Debbie had a chief of staff and a body woman. Okay, what is a body woman? What is a body woman? Body woman. Body woman. What is a body woman? Let's see. Okay, a body man. Let me go back to body woman. A body woman. Okay, all right, here we go. This is an ABC News story on Carly Fiorina. Her personal assistant was Rebecca Schreiber. Someone profiled her from the Associated Press. She demonstrated let's see. Okay, so Rebecca Schreiber had an overstuffed purse full of various necessities and little convenience items that she hauled around on the Fiorina campaign trail. Okay, the crunchy gum, the first thing that Schreiber pulls from her bag, it's a must-have item for the candidate, was what Fiorina referred to as crunchy gum. It's chiclet-style gum. I don't like soggy gum. I like crunchy gum. Schreiber then whips out her own gum favorite, which Fiorina might refer to as soggy because Schreiber doesn't like the same kind of gum as Fiorina. So Fiorina also kept a backup flag pin just in case she forgot to put one on her outfit for the day. So that's another thing that Ms. Schreiber, the body woman for Carly Fiorina, had in her big purse. A big poofy purse. Schreiber, a recent Northwestern graduate who grew up in the Chicago suburbs, carries a combination of nuts and dried fruit in case Carly Fiorina gets hungry. Fiorina notes that she has a soft spot for M&Ms, but also tries to stay away from eating sugar while she's out on the trail. That's a really good plan. Hand sanitizer. There's a lot of germs spreading on the trail. Schreiber makes sure to always have hand sanitizer at the ready. Little toothbrushes. Pulling out some disposable Wisp toothbrushes, Schreiber and Fiorina say the items have come in handy in a pinch. We've occasionally used those, and it was awkward, revealing that she had to use one of the toothbrushes in a kitchen ahead of a speech. So a body woman is somebody who's a personal assistant and sometime valet, I guess. So in her big poofy purse, Rebecca Schreiber carries a sewing kit, pantyhose, Sharpies, a Verizon cell phone. There's an electronics section and a deck of cards. Okay. That's what a body woman is. So apparently, Deborah Wasserman Schultz had one of those and a chief of staff. And all of that went on the DNC payroll. And Donna Brazile was not happy about it. She was briefed on all these benefits by the liaison of the Clinton campaign. She wrote that she told him she'd sell the SUV and drive herself and would not hire consultants. And God knows I don't need a body woman. Okay. She voiced surprise at the spending consideration when she was informed the party was broke and $2 million in debt when she took over, which makes sense. How many deficit spending bills did Deborah Wasserman Schultz vote on? All of them. Stripping the extra expenses was one way to get the burn rate down, she wrote, questioning how many hangers-on and sycophants were draining the lifeblood out of this party. Brazile's book sent shockwaves through the Democrat Party last week after the allegation first surfaced that the DNC had struck a special deal with the Clinton campaign, giving it partial control over party resources while the campaign helped with DNC's financial trouble. Brazile said that the perks helped fuel the bad financial situation. This was the way to keep the chair fat and happy. Give her a huge staff and lots of perks and don't ask her to do anything. Ow. Early book excerpts. Let's try to say that yourself. Early book excerpts. Let me try this one more time. Early book excerpts, revealed that Brazile continued trying to replace Clinton with then Vice President Joe Biden as the Democrat presidential nominee amid questions about Clinton's health, which included allegations of sexism against some campaign officials. Really? Clinton campaign members fired back at Brazile's account. An open letter signed by dozens of the team said, Donna came in to take over the DNC at a very difficult time. We were grateful for her doing so. She's a longtime friend and colleague of many of us, has been an important leader in our party, but we do not recognize the campaign she portrays in the book. Well, a lot of the rest of us sure do. Just saying. Donna Brazile, very unhappy with the Democrat Party. And so that being said, where is this party headed? Is Donna Brazile telling truth to power? Or does she have something up her sleeve? Will this book of hers eventually help the Democrat Party? Is it going to be the book that perhaps turns the party around? Telephone number 844-927-6691. Is Donna Brazile telling truth to power? Or does she have something up her sleeve? Will this book eventually help the Democrat Party? Is that a good thing? Do we want them to be helped? Eight 844-927-6691. You absolutely have to get this done. The Democrat Party is absolutely, they found themselves in a position where they are an un-American party. They don't like the American experience. They don't like anything about America. And if you're a Democrat out there and you're seething because of the things I'm saying, join us on the telephone. Call me and tell me why I'm saying the wrong thing. The Democrat Party is in disarray. I simply do not understand how it is the Democrat Party could have gotten into this situation the way it is right now. How could they have done this if they were minding their business and doing the people's business to begin with? I don't know how they managed to screw this up. But I sure know they have. Eight 844-927-6691. 844-927-6611. 6691, sorry. She also, by the way, said that there were allegations of sexism against the campaign's top male lieutenants. The Huffington Post reported on the passage, which Brazile complained about her treatment by campaign manager Robbie Mook. They were supposedly at odds over Mook's refusal to let her hire a temporary CEO when she took over the Democrat National Committee on an interim basis. Describing a tense conference call in the matter, Brazile wrote, "I worked with men all my life in politics, and I can sense when they get into this part thing about not being able to deal with a woman. It's not a racial thing. It was a gender thing." She also reportedly spoke that she interjected during the call to say, this doesn't feel like a negotiation to me. This feels like power and control. Gentlemen, let's just put our selves out on the table and see who's got the bigger one, because I know mine is bigger than all yours. Really? This is Donna Brazile. Seriously, Donna? Brazile's made serious allegations against the Clinton team, including the bombshell claim the DNC signed an agreement giving the campaign partial control over party decisions before the primary was over. How would you like to be a Democrat right now? Do you have any idea what your party's doing? You have any idea what your party believes in? Any idea at all? Deborah Wasserman Schultz doesn't even know what a Republican is, or a Democrat for that matter. She doesn't know what a Democrat is. She has no idea what a Democrat is. So what I want to know is, how are they going to be able to find themselves out of this mess that they're in? How are they going to find themselves out of the mess that they're in? if they have no idea what they believe or where they are now. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is the USA Radio Network.
Yeah. All right, you're good.
Oh. I'll be right back.
All right.
But I did not snoot the deputy. I snot the snariff. Okay, let's see here. Senator's gun bill.
Bye.
Hi, bye, bye. You're listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Thanks very much for being a part of our broadcast by joining us at 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. Some news has just crossed the wire. Senators from both sides of the aisle are coming together to make sure that people like the Texas church shooter cannot legally buy weapons. The gunman in Sunday's mass shooting should not have been able to purchase a domestic rifle while in the Air Force. That is not correct copy. Let me fix that copy for them. He should not have been able to purchase a weapon because of his conviction of a domestic assault while in the Air Force. However, that conviction was never reported to a national crime database. Republican Jeff Flake of Arizona and Democrat Martin Heinrich of New Mexico are introducing a bill that would make sure people convicted of Democrat violence. No. Domestic violence would be put into the database. Don't hassle me. I've got a cold. Okay? Heinrich says the gunman in the Texas massacre is exactly the type of person who should never be able to get his hands on a gun. Well, I mean, if he's a domestic violator, yeah. A domestic violence instigator, yeah. Because the domestic violence that he practiced when he was in the Air Force that got him thrown in jail for a year was the same domestic violence streak that reared its ugly head, costing the lives of 26 people. All I can say is that it was a huge and terrible tragedy, and it is my hope that the pain is assuaged quickly. Is Donna Brazile telling truth to power? Or does she have something else up her sleeve? I am beginning to wonder. I have long said that there was a big problem with the Democrat Party in that the Democrat Party had issues that were self-created by, no doubt about it, self-created. And that they were self-created, indeed, have gone to mature into a gigantic mess. And I believe that that's where they are right now. They really don't have a whole lot of things to be able to hang their hats on. They don't have any remarkable policies that they can hang their hat on. They don't really have any kind of legislative achievement that they can hang their hat on, especially since most of America wants the repeal of Obamacare. The only people standing in the way of that, of course, are Republicans. And why they are doing it is a mystery to me. It's an absolute mystery. (844-927-6691). 844-927-6691. Will this book eventually help the DNC? If these things are true, the answer is yes. If the things in this book are untrue, the answer is no. It would be my hope, my sincere hope, that the Democrat Party do something slightly different. Then what they would do is they would stand back and they would look at this for what it is. And they would say, are we truly the anti-American thug party? Did we really allow ourselves to fall into that pit? Did we spend too much time talking or listening to Barack Obama, who without doubt found this American experience completely wanting? I wonder what people will eventually say about this book, because it could be the turning point. It could be the turning point that reclaims the rich pro-American past of the Democrat Party instead of this anti-American progressive thug left. Benji says, hey, Democrats will never change. Well, but there's a difference. There are Democrats and then there are progressive leftists. The Democrat Party is right now overrun with Democrat leftists. Will that continue? The answer is no. You're listening to the Wells Report This is the USA Radio Network. We're going to be right back with more of this broadcast as we continue on Election Day, USA.
All right. Just give it 5 more seconds. That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out before now you're clear to talk.
Yes.
Can we talk with that 10 seconds to go? I can't see why not.
What do you mean, can we talk?
Well, no, like we're out at 29.50 to compensate for the delay, right?
Right.
At our time, board already catches up by 30 over there. Flawless today.
Yes.
That's the only thing I'm trying to figure out if we can actually talk at 29.50, but 10 seconds won't hurt us.
True.
Yeah.
Wow.
You all right?
I'm fading, actually.
Yeah, me too, a little.
I am fading. I am. This new clock gives me a lot more time on the air.
It's just what? 30 seconds an hour.
30 seconds an hour?
Yeah. My math's right. Let's see. Hold on. Actually, no, it's the same exact time.
What?
Just 10 seconds earlier.
What?
It's the same amount of time.
Of what?
You just said there's more time now to talk with this new clock. Oh, you mean since coming over here? My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired, man. I know you aren't. You feeling any better today?
What?
You feeling any better today?
A little better. I mean,
Good.
I mean, it was like, how do I say this? I feel worse, but I have better drugs. And I.
Al Gore lawyer.
What?
Now reading a story about Al Gore's lawyer.
Yeah, what about him? I saw that earlier, but I didn't do anything with
Yeah,
it.
it was on Drudge.
Yeah.
Who was? Oh. Yeah.
What?
Nothing. I'm just reading this article from NBC Local in Chicago about, Jesse Jackson, another one who can't keep his hands to himself.
Well, okay. Oh, man.
I'm kind of curious what the speech on tonight's going to be about.
What?
You think he struck a deal with North Korea?
I don't think so.
Or is it deadline? Or new quote-unquote sanctions? Yay. Thing is, I actually admire his restraint right now. So any kind of actual force, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And then the last time we were over there, Colonel Blake got killed.
Ooh.
Colonel Blake.
From MASH?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it were radar. I hate radar. Damn body.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. There are big elections across the country. One of them is for mayor of New York. Bill de Blasio, public menace, is running for re-election in New York. There's no real way of telling whether he's doing well or whether he isn't doing well, because if he wasn't doing well, the polls would be saying that he's doing very, very well. And I'm expecting him to somehow win another term as mayor of New York. And that would be sad. Be really sad. There are two other races that are going on tonight, governorships in both New Jersey and Virginia. Both those governors, Terry McAuliffe in Virginia and Chris Christie in New Jersey, have timed out. In other words, they have termed out. They have no more time left to run. That means their seats are open. And who is going to be the person who fills that seat in Virginia? Well, one could be Ed Gillespie. Ed Gillespie is a longtime Republican Party guru. He's a serious guy. He knows governance. And I do believe that he would make a very, very good governor of the state of Virginia. A victory in Virginia would show the party has power in a state that backed Democrats in the past 3 presidential elections. Democrats, having lost several special House elections this year, want to show they can stay on top in Virginia and gain ground in New Jersey. I don't know that they're going to get that chance. I really don't. Virginia is the race that the Republicans have their best chance for a win. Many polls show Democrat Ralph Northam with a slight edge, but Republican Ed Gillespie's numbers have climbed in recent weeks. Democrats will likely win in Fairfax County and by a lot. The question is, how many votes come from the suburban county near Washington, D.C.? Higher turnout is likely to be a good sign for Democrats. In 2009, when Republican Bob McDonnell won the governor's mansion, the county produced 273 votes. When the current governor, Democrat Terry McAuliffe, won 4 years later, he took with him nearly 306,000 gubernatorial votes coming from Fairfax. That's an increase of 12%. A vote is unlikely to increase by that much this year. But if it's up by an additional 10,000 or so votes, with the Democrats winning 58% or 60% of them, that would be a sign that upper-income suburban Democrats are revved up and voting, a good sign for Mr. Northam. So that's when we're in a situation where we are looking at Virginia. In Loudoun County, the county is on the outer edge of Washington suburbs and may be the one to watch for Mr. Gillespie's prospect. In his unsuccessful 2014 Senate race, he narrowly won Loudoun County. If he wins there again tonight, Gillespie may start preparing for a victory party. Okay, Janet. Wow. By the way, Loudoun County may not necessarily be a good chance to win. The population is high, 24%. It went up 24% since 2010. The influx of people could create a more Democrat electorate, at least in presidential election years. The city of Richmond, the capital of the state, is a good place to measure the impact of the African-American vote in Virginia. About half the city's population is black. The number of votes cast in Richmond can swing substantially. In 2005, the city produced 51,000 votes. In 2009, only 45,000 came from the city. In 2013, 58,000 came from the city. Democrats won the city in every election, but those differences in turnouts were important to the statewide outcome. Richmond has grown in population since 2013, meaning Democrats are going to want to see something close to the 2013 turnout number. Virginia Beach, Tidewater region, traditionally favors Republicans. Mr. Northam is from that area of the state. His career as an Army doctor may carry special weight with that area's most important employer, the military. That makes the vote margin important to watch there. The GOP may win the region, but the question will be how much. By the way, Terry McAuliffe, a Democrat, lost Virginia Beach by 2 percentage points on his way to becoming governor. If he produces more than 108,000 votes as it did in 2013, Mr. Northam could keep the margin narrow or pull off an upset in Virginia Beach. That would be a bad sign for Mr. Gillespie. I don't see him losing. I do not see him losing. I do not see Ed Gillespie losing this election. Because I'll be perfectly honest with you, near as I can tell, the people of Virginia are not especially impressed with Terry McAuliffe these days. What about New Jersey? By most measures, this race looks to be a walk for the Democrat. Phil Murphy may likely win over GOP Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno. It's probably Guadagno. Not a single poll in the Real Clear Politics polling average has the race in single digits. Wow. Whew. A big reason is the administration of current GOP Governor Chris Christie, who never recovered from the Bridgegate scandal and whose job approval rating is in the teens. In Middlesex and Somerset counties, the large suburban counties in between Trenton and Newark, went for Mr. Christie twice in the 2009 and the 2013 gubernatorial elections. They both also went for Hillary in 2016 by double digits. The counties have diverse populations with high educational attainment. Characteristics have come to signal Democrat strength. If Mr. Guadagno wins there, it's a sign that she may do better than expected statewide. Essex, Union, and Camden counties. The counties on the east and west borders of the state all lean Democrat and have populations that are 20 or more percent African American. They will offer a sense of black turnout in the state. In 2009, then Governor John Corzine, a Democrat, won all three counties comfortably, even though he lost statewide. But in 2013, Mr. Christie won Union and Camden, as turnout plummeted in those three counties. If everything is on track, you should be winning those counties by double-digit margins. And the county should be producing votes closer to their 2009 clip, 135,000 votes in Camden, 182,000 votes in Essex, 4,000 votes in Union County. Salem and Gloucester County, these counties will offer a measure of turnout among Mr. Trump's state base in the state. Both supported Mr. Christie twice, both backed Mr. Trump in 2016. Even as the state overall went for Mrs. Clinton by 14 percentage points. Salem and Gloucester are home to many voters who are important parts of Mr. Trump's coalition. Mr. Trump's coalition involves white, non-Hispanic voters without a 4-year college degree in education. Huh. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a couple of answers to these questions. If Republicans win the governorships in both New Jersey and Virginia, will that signal some strength for Donald Trump? Some very serious strength for Donald Trump and his governance? You know, there are a lot of people even in New Jersey would very much like to be able to go and say, hey, I'm proud of my governor again. The question is, would they be proud of a Republican or a Democrat again. Many people say the Democrat's going to win. I'm not so sure. But if the Democrat loses, it's going to be directly because of Donald Trump. If, however, the Democrats lose today, would Donald Trump be the reason why? I would say yes. I would say that Donald Trump would be the big reason why. Because like I said, I honestly believe that the American people sent Donald Trump to Washington, D.C. to send a very serious message that I don't think has penetrated nearly to the level that the American people wanted it to. I'm expecting pretty good turnout in both states. I'm expecting that the people of Virginia will elect the Democrat. I think it's possible the people of New Jersey will elect the Republican. I'm sorry. I believe the people in Virginia will elect the Republican, and I think that the people in New Jersey will probably end up electing the Republican as well. So in other words, I think it's quite possible that both races could be won by Republicans. I'm still trying to figure out why you'd want to vote for a Democrat in the first place. And by the way, if you have an answer to that, by all means, share it. 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. Will Republicans win the governorships in both New Jersey and Virginia? If they don't, will it be President Trump's fault? I don't believe so. I think that Donald Trump, excuse me, I think Donald Trump has a real, serious political base here. And I think that those people are ready to vote for him again, even in the name of the governor's race and in both states. I'm not real good at predicting this kind of stuff. But I am assuming that polls are going to close at 7 o'clock in both states. So Wayne Allen Root on most of these very same USA Radio Network stations will very likely have a great deal of information to share with you tonight regarding whether or not Donald Trump is able to use his coattails to drag a couple of more Republicans into office. The Democrat Party has been in big trouble when it comes to governorships. I think they only have about 18 left. Which takes us to an important question. If the Democrats lose again, would that be the catalyst that would make the Democrat Party change? Would that be the catalyst? Or would they have to wait until when? When would they wait? And oh, by the way, if they win in New Jersey, is that really a victory? It's going to be, I think that I can hardly wait to find out who wins these races. Part of me, the part that is true blue American, part of me wants Donald Trump to win in proxy in both Virginia and in New Jersey. And I would tell you that one of the reasons why is because I want to see the Democrat Party realize that they are in very, very deep trouble. Because a Democrat Party that hates America is a fifth column in the United States that can do incredibly serious damage to this nation. And I think we've had enough of that, don't you? Who will win? Who's got the chance to win in both Virginia and New Jersey when it comes to tonight's gubernatorial race. Tell us what you think. 844-927-6691. Get you through to the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network.
Hey, JD.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring out my red pen. It's Democratic, not Democrat Party.
It is not the Democratic Party.
No, it's the Democratic Party, not the Democrat Party.
No, it is actually the Democrat Party.
No, it's Democratic.
No, Democratic.
Because when you're referring to party, you're in a singular pronunciation. It's plural on that.
No.
Because you're mentioning party, which is plural, which is more than one.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Who's in the party?
You just said the Democrat Party.
Right. What are the individuals in the Democrat Party known as?
Democrats.
Right. Not the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but you're
the Democratic Party is not that becomes a modifier. That becomes an adjective.
Okay.
The Democrat Party is a party of Democrats.
Okay. I know you're really proud of your degree from Southern New Hampshire University, but you have to trust my words here when I say it's Democratic.
No, it's actually Democrat.
No.
Because Democrats are in the party. It's like Republicans. It's not the Republicanic. It's not the Republicanic Party.
All right. Is it?
It's the Republican Party because it's a party of Republicans.
Republic Party.
No, it is the party of Republicans.
Oh my God.
It is not the Republic Party. It is the Republican Party, just like it is the Democrat Party, not the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is a party of people who believe that majority rules win. Democrats don't believe that majority rules win. That's why they support so many minority candidates in minority positions.
I'm not talking about party politics. I'm talking about the pronunciation.
No, I'm talking about you're incorrect.
No.
Yes, you are.
How?
It is a democratic form of government. It is not a Democrat form of government because it is not run by Democrats. The Democrat Party is a party of Democrats.
Then why not just refer to it as the Democratic Party as you would the Republican Party?
Because it is not the Republican. It is not the Republicanic Party.
I never said it was a Republicanic Party.
Well, you see, the Republicans are in the Republican Party.
Hey, real quick. How bad do you want to come down to IFB right now and choke me out?
I don't want to choke you out. You don't understand. You don't understand the realities of what you're talking about. You're equating grammar in a political conversation.
No, I'm just speaking on the basis of grammar.
Well, it's not. It's grammar is your grammar is incorrect. Your grammar is incorrect.
Oh boy.
Because democratic. What part of speech is democratic?
Democratic would be a process of the American political
system. No, what part of speech in English is a democratic? Or excuse me, I'm sorry. What part of speech is democratic? What part of speech is it?
I didn't think that far ahead. I'm just,
Well, if you're gonna talk about grammar, then you need to understand the part of speech that a democratic is.
JD,
what is democratic?
JD, I just really wanted to kill this break fast and my mission was accomplished. I really don't care.
Seriously, Chris. No, you got yourself into this. Let's work our way through it. You said I was wrong, and I'm telling you that I'm not. I want you to say this again. What part of speech? What part of speech is the word democratic? What part of speech is it? What part of speech is it?
I don't know. I'm stupid.
It is an adjective.
Right, you're right.
It is a democratic form of government. It's an adjective. What part of speech is a Democrat?
I've been educated.
Democrat is what part of speech?
We're coming back from. Seriously, we're coming back.
What part of speech is it?
We're back. Oh my
God. You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. The technical producer of this broadcast is Christopher Campbell. He is coming to us from our network headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona. I am coming to you from the KBDT studios in Dallas, Texas. Now, we've been having a conversation that I think you need to be a part of, insofar as people have mistakenly tried to correct me by saying, John David, it's not the Democrat Party, It is the Democratic Party. That is incorrect. It is based on a misnomer, a classic misnomer, an actual honest-to-goodness, no-fooling misnomer. The misnomer is that the people who are in the Democrat Party are Democrats. The Democratic Party is a party that is based on democracy. I think that most of us know full well and can testify to the fact in plain language that the Democrat Party is certainly not a party that believes in democratic principles. That is why there are so many small, minute sub-parties in the Democrat Party. In other words, everything is a smaller version. Everything is cut down into a small group. There are gay people, there are black people, there are white people, there are brown people, there are males, there are females, there are transgenders, there are this, there are that. There are bunches of small groups of people. Therefore, they do not believe that the majority should count when it comes to politics. They believe the minorities should count, which is why they do their absolute dead level best to court as many minorities as humanly possible and to create as many minorities as humanly possible. So to divide the body politic of the United States into as many small parties as possible to play them off against each other, a thing that is decidedly not democratic. Further, the word democratic is an adjective. When it comes to English, democratic means of a Democrat origin, or an origin of democracy. Sorry, not Democrat. It's an origin of democracy. Again, the Democrat Party is not an origin of democracy. It is an origin of party politics, practiced at a almost pathological level, if not indeed a pathological level. So when I refer to the Democrat Party, I refer to it very much like I refer to as the Republican Party. The Republican Party is not a party of the Republic. It is a party of Republicans. The Democrat Party is a party of Democrats, not Democratics. And they are not democratic in their actual governance process. So, when it comes right down to it, for more reasons than there are more reasons than what I've discovered here, and discussed here. But I refer to the Democrat Party as the Democrat Party because they are Democrats. They are most decidedly not democratic in any way, shape, or form. So, if you wondered why I did that, now you know. Because I want to be as accurate as humanly possible when it comes to American politics. Because you need to know and need not be confused that the Democrat Party is most assuredly not democratic. It is as totalitarian as any American party politic could possibly be. Just so you know. The executive producer of the Wells Report is the Philip Brown. Our technical producer is Chris Campbell. I'm John David Wells. Have a good one. See you later for another edition of the Wells Report.
You're clear.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, I wound you up because I thought you could make something out of that for the last segment.
Sure you did.
No, I'm serious. I don't want to be awesome.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am now going to go and try to do something about this cold.
Yeah, go back to bed. Oh, by the way.
And I think that's what I'm going to do. What?
Dan Noe, who's our
senior editor.
You know, he busts our chops all the time about Bramer. Just backed up my point. It's plural. It's democratic.
It's not plural.
Yes. Oh, okay.
It would be Democrats.
Shady.
It would be Democrats.
Wait, hold on. You realize now if you just hit the pause button, how silly you and I sound right now?
No, I'm actually doing this. I'm doing this for a reason. So
Show's over, JD. Go home and get some rest.
I will take good care of thine self. To
I
thine
will.
self be take caring of Nishnerness.
Now, let me ask you before I let you go. Now, are you going to the doctor's office or to the doctor office?
What? What?
I said, are you going to the doctor's office or the doctor office?
It's the doctor's office because he owns it.
No, because it'd be doctor because he's the one looking at you. All right, go feel better. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take
pal.
good care.
Great job.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And I am going to try to feel better as soon as I possibly can. God's blessings. God's blessings, you guys. Take good care. I'll see you tomorrow.